Hey gang, Lou here. Welcome back to the shop. So today, I had a 2004 Jeep Wrangler TJ, 4-cylinder, 5-speed, power steering. Customer complaint, death wobble. So customer just bought this Jeep. It's got a 3-inch lift on it, 32-inch tires. Overall, not in bad shape. There's only like 130,000 miles on this Jeep. But he's complaining about death wobble. So, went through, inspected, got a bad wheel bearing. It's got the infamous bent track bar and center link. Power steering pump is leaking like crazy. The power steering box, the steering gear, is leaking like crazy. Tie rod ends are shot. And if I didn't mention it, wheel hub is bad. So, we're going to go ahead and dive in. Show you how to knock all this out. It's really not a bad job. It can be a little time consuming, but really not a bad job. You want to figure out how to get this old girl back up and running straight? Stick around. Alright, so at this point, I've already gone and drained what was left of the power steering fluid. This thing's got a massive leak, so there wasn't a whole lot in there. So first step here, because I'm replacing everything, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get this knocked loose, and then we'll get after this bolt and the pitman arm, and then after that we can drop the steering box down and start doing the work we got to do. I also have the steering wheel locked down with the ratchet strap. I don't remember if on this model there's a steering wheel lock with the key. And I soaked everything down with Croil, so hopefully it's a little easier to get apart. Sure it won't be. So we got that guy out of the way. There we go. That's out of the way. Of course, I have an ill-fitting socket for this. Okay. Alright, actually, plan B. I don't have a pitman arm puller big enough to go over this, so what's going to end up happening is I'll take this over to the bench and I'll use a bearing separator. Right now, I just want to get this thing out of here, get it on the ground, get this messy part over with. So, from here, these 3 bolts got to come out. Once that gets down, we can get the lines. Got 2 power steering lines here, and then behind that's going to be the actual nut, or the bolt rather, that holds the column to the steering box. So I'm grabbing a ill-fitting wrench to get on there and get those off. Alright, so I got a pan underneath here. Get these lines off. This one here at the compression fitting, that's our pressure line. You guys remember it's got to go inboard. I don't remember the other one goes the outboard. That drain into my bucket. Catch pan, whatever.
Now you will notice that if you're doing this at home, when you go to loosen up these power steering lines and this is hanging down here, this thing's going to flop around all over the place. Just try to get it wedged up against the frame. It'll break loose. You can see how rusty these are, and not even using a line wrench. Go ahead, flame me. Not even using a line wrench. They still came off. Yeah, they put up a little bit of a fight. Yeah, it's a little awkward. But I've got more leverage than common sense, so you can see that one broke free. And no, I didn't go through and do this job already and loosen everything up. You're seeing it as it happens. Lucky you. And this is the part where I fast forward. Those are free. So I think you guys could see it right there. There's our bolt holding on the shaft to the steering shaft to the steering box here. So go and get that loose. I started this job off with a crowbar. Now it's great. Awesome. Way to be responsible. Go 4 hours sleep. So now the next trick we got to do here is we got to slide the shaft here up off of. Hey. All right, so Pitman arms off the steering box. Accidentally didn't record it, so there's that. So next step, while I'm waiting for parts, we're gonna get this wheel hub out of here. So you got two 13 millimeters holding caliper on here. Top one at the bottom. I use one of these hooks. Put that there. Put that there. These two bolts. That. Now, wheel hub, you're going to have, I already broke these loose obviously, you're going to need 13 millimeter 12 point. And take out these three. Looks like a new wheel bearing to me. Got this big nut here. 36. What's that? Now, typically what I'll do is I'll try to get on the heads of the bolts back here. Somebody's been in here. Pretty drama free. It's not fair to everybody else who's got to fight. That's part of the reason why I moved down south. I don't have to fight all that rust. This was a Jersey Jeep? Oh yeah, this would be a 2-hour battle. Okay. This guy to stay. Too easy. Alright gang, so get this new wheel hub on here. Once we cleaned off all the rust, a little bit of anti-seize, you know, make it nice. No real orientation for this. Bolt storage.
Is that what you normally do?
Yeah, because I've had so much experience with the lift in my old shop.
Come on, man. We're getting old, man. You can't be doing all this crawling around bullshit. Man, I seen a used 4-post lift with the rolling jacks on it on Facebook last night, and I was like, man, I want that. Then I was thinking, man, if you put it right there where you at, it's gonna probably be in your way half the time. You know what I mean?
Oh,
The kind of work that you do.
that's about how tight that was when it came off. Way more sure. This goes into. Normally you would use cotter pins. Considering this doesn't have too important of a job, I'm not really worried about it.
I had no idea it was in there. Wasn't on purpose.
And that takes care of that.
Stuff down there for you when you get back.
Gotta put it off on time.
I would love that too, sir.
click. There you go. One wheel hub. Next, I'll put that power steering box back in. Alright, so before I put the pump on here, there should be 2 O-rings. I gotta come off. So there's one. There goes the other one. They're both the same size, so really can't screw them up. I'm sure there's a way I will, but it's very important that you change these. So there's that one. There's that one. And we'll take a little bit of the fluid leaking out and put that on there, just so they're not going in dry. Alright, so at this point I've gone ahead and taken off what's called the jungle gym. So the entire steering assembly is off the truck. Went to go break this loose here. And this is just how it came off the truck. I promise you I haven't touched anything. If you have this, that's a problem, don't do that. So, at this point what's going to happen is I'm simply going to count how many turns this comes out, put that into the new one. Make sense? And the alignment should be fairly straight. So, another one, I'm going to fast forward through this while I count, because I'm sure I'm going to lose count. So everybody count with me. Let's throw away. $33. Everybody remember 33.
Was it like 30?
I was counting.
Alright, so turn this back in 33 times. Tighten down the adjuster. And then flip it around and do that for every other removable tie rod end that's on this assembly. Got to put the steering stabilizer back on here. And then it can all go back on the truck. And I gotta wait till tomorrow for a steering box because I ordered the wrong one. But I'm brilliant. Not really. But I am. My wife will tell you I'm brilliant. Not in public. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna do this like 65 more times. Alright, gang. Now we got the right power steering pump. Let's try this again. Throw that up there. Okay. That's it. Now comes the fun part. Getting these lines back on. This is always, at least for me, the hardest part sometimes of doing these steering boxes. Doesn't matter the car. Because no matter how loose it is, like it is now, or where it is in the vehicle, these lines do not just drop in. Okay. Well, wasn't terrible. Certainly done a lot worse. And of course, it's at this moment I realized I fucked up. I should have tightened down this inside one. But you know how it is. You get to a point where you feel lucky, and okay, let me get everything started. And then before you know it, you paint yourself into a corner. So that's always fun. Okay, I don't want to do it. I better do it. Alright, so at this point now, I can go ahead and jack this up and start getting these bolts in here. These bolts that came out had blue Loctite on them, so I'm going to throw some more. Now, as a general rule of thumb, at least for me, if something comes out that doesn't have Loctite on it, doesn't get Loctite when it goes back in. If it does, well, then it does. Makes sense. It's got a torque spec on this. I'm just going to go ahead and report it. Turn the air compressor on. That's part of it. Alright, that's that part of it. Now, stick this guy on there. Now, there's only one way for this to go. So, if you look, there's 4 master splines at 12, 6, 9, and 3. Steering box is going to be the same way. So there's no way for you to really get it wrong. There you go. Now, figure out the hell I did with the nut and washer. Alright, so these are right where I left them. So that's good. That started. The worst fitting socket for that. Alright, so I'm not going to cinch that down just yet. I want to get my other steering components on here. and then after that I'll cinch it down. But the torque on this guy is 185 pounds. The bolts that go in through the side for that actually hold the box to the frame, those are 75 pounds. So, you know, just in case you want. All right, let me go put the rest of this together. All right, let's see if I remember how all this goes together. I think I do. Oh, easy, easy. Tear and place apart. Working like a madman. That's basically what happens. Is you have this rod end goes up here into the pivot arm. Like so. That makes sense. You got this rod end. Goes into the steering knuckle. Like so. And then on this side, you got this rod end. Okay. That's going to go in. Okay, that's going to go in there. And then we got our last one here. That's going to go in there. Put that there. Okay. So let's see. Well, we're doing better already. Because I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. But right here. Alright, when I took this apart, as he would turn the wheel, this was coming over and hitting this. Because that, you know, everything was pushed back so far from taking that hit. So that's gonna fix that. Now, last thing to do, got the steering stabilizer to go in. And my guess is that that's what they were trying to use the first time to correct all the death wobble. So that worked out. Put that there. And let's see. Put that in there. Put that one on there. Piece of cake. This one. Put that there. screwing around with that. Now here's a tapered bolt. So that's gonna go in there. It's gonna go on there. Just throw that across the floor, why not? That'll be fine. It's gonna get started on there. This bolt already has a washer built onto it. That's going to go on there. Like that. Alright, so you see, nothing really complicated here. It's just a bunch of nuts and bolts. Bolts and nuts. Patience. Patience is the key. But honestly, these Jeep steering systems are very outdated with this push-pull system. There's a lot of better ways to do it nowadays, but it's been working for years. Why change it now? Alright, I'm going to get everything tightened up and put, I got to get all these adjusters tightened up here. I got to put cotter pins and everything. 45 foot-pounds, I believe, for all the tie rod ends. Grease it all. And then that ought to do it. Alright, check back after I get this done. Alright, so like I said before, I was going to go and put all the new tie rod ends together, so everything's together. Cotter pins, grease fittings, greased. The point I was making when we started the video is that when you look, the track bar and the pitman arm here, the steering arm here, they're both now at the same angle. And a lot of times with death wobble is because these two are at two different angles. All right, so that corrects that issue by doing all this. The other thing is what I was saying before. This here, let's try to film it there. This here was up against here, and you can actually see the rub marks. So now, I get my whole hand back here now, and there's plenty of room. Nothing's going to hit anymore. That's how bent all this was going in. So now with all that done, new steering box. We know it's new because it says remanufactured. So with all that being said, I took it out for a drive. It drives very, very well. I'm happy with the way it came out. Let's see if I give you a better... This will give you a better indication of just how far this was bent. Okay, where this was rubbing all up into here. And now, like I said, we got plenty of room. Alright guys, that's going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. As you can see, doing this job is not a hard job at all. It's just a lot of parts and pieces. The worst part is getting the pitman arm off the steering arm. So at some point in the future, this duck-rated Jeep will be back for other work. I don't know what right now, but I'm sure it's going to be back. Appreciate you watching. As always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until we see you next time, peace.